Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me.
The two people closest to the Beatles were their personal assistants, Neil Espinal and Mal Evans.
He was the roadie, but he really was the rock. Mal was their mountain.
Mal was a big guy who followed Paul everywhere. If anybody could tell the full story about what happened to Paul, it would be Mal. If Mal had written a book, we might learn why Paul and Mal left England in October 1966 and drove through Europe to Spain for a flight to Nairobi, Kenya. This 8mm film was made by Mal Evans on the trip. In Kenya, apparently the two traveled to the Kishi highlands, perhaps to experience how the natives there live. After a few days, they went to a hospital where Paul apparently needed treatment. Ten days later, Mal took him on safari. And then on November 19th, they returned to London. Mal went straight to Paul's house on Cavendish Avenue and immediately fired Paul's loyal longtime butler, George Kelly, forcing him out of the house. George Kelly never saw Paul again.
Paul and Mal Evans come up with this idea of Sgt. Pepper.
I wrote Sgt. Pepper and Fixing to Get Home with Paul. It was at a point when he was living in his house in London. His housekeeper had left, and I lived with him for 4 months. And on top of the house, he had a small music room, you know. And he used to sit at the piano, and that's when we wrote Sgt. Pepper.
On January 5th, 1976, Mal was on the phone with his good friend from the Beatles days. Mal told him he had worked out some problems with Paul and that he would be receiving royalties for all the songs he'd written.
He sounded worried. He said, Paul and I have just worked out some problems, and he's going to give me credit for some of the things I wrote with him.
Mal Evans had almost finished his book, Living the Beatles Legend.
If anything happens to me, please make sure the book gets published.
4 hours later, Mal Evans was killed by a police patrol led by former Kennedy investigator Charles Higbee. The official police justification for killing Mal was that he was standing and waving an air rifle.
Please make sure the book gets published.
The manuscript, which lay inside a locked suitcase, disappeared. This suitcase is considered the holy grail of Beatles historians. The suitcase disappeared.
From our lecture, actually. Paul was meditating one day, and I came to him in a vision, and I was just standing there saying, let it be, let it be. And that's where the song came from. And it was funny because we got home from a session one night, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, raining, dark in London, and Paul was telling me this, you know, saying, I've written this song, and he told me the incident. And he said, the song is going to be Mother Malcolm, but I want to change Mother Malcolm in case people get the wrong idea.
My mother was Mary Patricia Mohan McCartney, and good Catholic girl from Ireland, came over when she was 11. She died when I was quite young still, and much later when the Beatles were having success around about the time of Let It Be, we were all getting a little crazy, and I'd gone to bed one night and sort of had a dream, and she'd been in the dream, which is always lovely, you know, and people who've been long gone come in dreams, because you actually meet them again, even if it's just within the confines of your own head. Still lovely. You're actually chatting to them, which is a big plus, you know. And she was in the dream, and she sort of said, it'll be all right, it'll be all right. And she was very sort of calming, and I sort of woke up thinking, oh, I feel better now, you know, I feel better about things. So I, you know, as I usually did, I started writing a song based on feeling better, based on the incident. And because she was my mother and her name was Mary, I said, Mother Mary comes to me, realising also that there would be a lot of people who would naturally just change that to their own uses and use it as the Virgin Mary, you know, which doesn't matter for me. Hey, you know, great. You know. In my case, it actually was my own mother. I'll say a lot of people now kind of will use it almost as a hymn. Yeah. And I know some people who are very religious and they love that song, you know, and I'm sure they're taking it as Virgin Mary. Yeah. But I say good luck to them. Where's the harm in that, eh? These days, well, we should get a hammer and an anvil. See you later. Dun, dun, dun. Oh! Bang, bang, Maxwell silver hammer came down upon her head. Clang, clang, Maxwell silver hammer. Done it all the pleasure from the many ways I've tried. But still I've had lots of pleasure, but said better, you know. Yeah. I've had many pleasure. I've had much pleasure. Yeah. You left me waiting here a long time ago. Ooh, you like standing better?
Well, yeah, put weight in there and standing here.
So it would be